Hello and welcome back. We're doing a multiplane zoom on a still photograph. So basically we're doing what's known as an artificial zoom, just using a still or a static photo. So After Effects is great for that too. So let's go ahead and just get started here. So we're going to click on New Project here. We can do a new composition here. And Comp 1's fine. All right, and let's go ahead and go up to composition settings here and make sure our dimensions are what we want them to be. So on this assignment, I believe the dimensions are 640 by 480. So we're going to put that in here, 640 wide by 480 high. Our frame rate, I believe, is going to be 30, so we're good there. So leave that at 30 frames per second. And our duration is going to be 5 seconds, I believe. That looks right. Let's see here. Yeah, 5-second duration, so we're already set there. If not, just go ahead and change the number second from the right to 5 seconds here. Okay, so 640 by 480, 30 frames a second, 5-second duration. Click OK. And let's see. Now the next thing we need to do is bring in a photograph. So I'm going to minimize this for a second and show you. I found a couple of photos that I thought would work really well. Here are a couple of images here. I thought that was a good one. Again, you want to look for a photo that has three main three main sections, I guess, for 3 different layers. So here we have a foreground layer, or the front here. We have the middle layer, which is here, and then finally the back layer, which would be the sky. So you want to have a layer or a photo with 3 or 4 good layers would be fine. That's a good one. So that's a contender. That's another good one. That is, again, we have a foreground here in the front. The middle ground is where the dam and the river are, and then finally the sky in the back. That's a really nice one there. And then we have, let's see, one more here. Okay, that one's pretty good. And there's another one. Foreground could be the stadium. Middle ground could be the water, and then the background could be the sky. So I'll pick one of those 3. Probably go with, let's go with, well, that's a good one there. So first thing we want to do is get our photo in here. So we're going to do a file, import, file. And we are going to grab, well, where is that one? I think it's this one here. So click import, and that's a big photo. So you're going to see we're going to need to scale that down. Obviously, that's huge, right? So probably the easiest way to scale that, you could go in here to the layer itself, click on the little arrow, open up your transform controls, and just scale that thing down. Okay, so that looks pretty good right there. Let's go as far as we can. So that's not bad there. We can also drag this thing around too, so I can move the photo like that if I want to capture the tree there. That looks pretty good right there, right? And notice here all this on the top here. So I want to bring this back up. I might have to stretch it a little bit, but I just want to cover all the canvas. That looks pretty good right there. And notice there when I hit enter, it went back to the layer window. But there it is here. So if you end up accidentally going on this layer window up in the monitor screen, just click back on the composition layer. And so we have this photo now. We're gonna chop this up into 3 different layers. So what I'm gonna do is duplicate this photo 3 times. So if I just hit Control D, notice there I duplicated it, and then one more time, Control D. Okay, so now I have 3 different layers of the same photo. I'm going to name these also. The first layer here I'm going to call front. So I'm going to right click on this, choose rename, and call this front. Okay, go down to the second layer. We're going to call this middle. So I'm going to rename this, call this middle. That'll be my middle layer. And finally, this will be my back layer. Okay, front, middle, and back. Simple, simple Simon. Okay, so I'm going to start with doing the front layer here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw a mask around just the front here. So what that'll do is it will mask out the rest of the picture but keep this front layer. So the way to do that is just to simply go in and grab a pen tool here. And the pen tool is up here on the timeline here. It looks like a little calligraphy pen. And I'm just going to go around now and draw this. But let me zoom out here just to show you how this is going to work. So I clicked on the zoom tool. Now if I want to zoom out, since it's on plus right now, it's going to zoom in. But if I want to zoom out, all I have to do is hold the Alt key down. And notice there how I zoomed out on it, so you can see it better. And then I'm going to grab my hand grabber tool and bring this over. Okay? So what I'm going to do is grab the pen tool, and I'm just going to draw the mask around the area I want to keep. So I'm going to start, maybe I'll start here. Notice here I can go around the outside edges of the photo. Okay, and I can go up here. Let's grab the hand grabber here. There we go. And I'm going to grab the pen tool again and just keep going. Okay, and I want to keep the tree here just to keep some detail. So you might want to challenge yourself and grab a photo that has some good detail. And I can always add key points in there later. Okay, and so just do the best you can and draw your outline around the areas that you're going to keep for that layer. And just take your time and go. Make sure you space them apart enough to where you can keep them going. There we go. Oops. Now let's say I didn't want to go that way because I want to go down here, right? This way. So Control Z will undo your last steps, and then you can just keep going here. Okay. And just take your time. Like I said, just do the best you can. You can make adjustments later. And it looks like it goes right on down here. Okay, and then let's see, probably want to go this way. We'll go ahead and keep this part. All right, and now we can just keep going down this way. Just click once, take your time. Okay, it's not a speed contest here, so. All right, and we can adjust these points later. Okay. So looking at this, yeah, I guess this is my line here. Let's just go ahead and we'll keep this going here. Keep that little stick in here. So you get really detailed here, and it can be tricky. But that's what makes it kind of fun and interesting, is how well you can make this look, based on some of these details. We'll leave the stick out there. That one's a little tricky. Okay, so we're getting close. All right. And we're just going to go around this. There we go. And then come all the way down here, click there. And again, I'm going to grab the hand grabber tool here, move this, and now we're going to connect them. So now I want to grab my pen tool again and just keep going. And then watch this. I'll click here. And now these are all connected. So watch what happens now when I turn off the bottom two layers here. So let me grab my cursor here. So basically you can see what the pen tool does. It masks out an area and gets rid of the rest, I guess, is how the best way I can say it. Now looking at this, now you can see where you can kind of make some adjustments if you need to. Like I might drag these in a little bit. Again, I think here you can just do some minor adjustments. And that'll make things a little bit easier when you go to do your zooming. Okay, so just kind of bring those in a little bit. Again, I'm not trying to do anything too drastic here. Looks pretty good. Okay. And looking around here, that looks pretty good. I think I can leave that the way it is. But you can make some, you can always go back and adjust these points is the point I'm trying to make, I guess. And yeah, don't be afraid to make some adjustments as you need to. Just to clean up the edge here. We can also feather that too. Okay, so that looks pretty good. So that's going to be my front layer. And to do the middle layer now, we're going to turn that one on. We can basically take this mask that we made and copy it to the middle layer. So if I go to front layer, click on mask itself underneath there, choose Control C to copy it, Control plus C, and then just go to the middle layer and click Control plus V. And notice now our middle layer also has this mask, okay? And let me show you why we're doing that, okay? So if I turn on this bottom layer, but click on the middle layer, I can take this border. Let me zoom out again one more time. Alt there to zoom out. I could take this mask now in the middle layer, and I can just grab it and move it over. Watch this. So I can leave all these points that I made and just take these points down below and move those over to the middle layer or where I want them to go. Now this one here, I can just click on that point and delete it. And notice there, now it comes up here and it makes your life a lot easier. Let's take this layer, click delete. And let's go ahead and, yeah, let's leave that one out right now for a minute. Let's delete all of these layers here so I can just select all these right here. Choose delete. Okay, and I can move this one up a little bit. Let's take this one, delete it. And we'll just move this one. Let's actually delete this one too. Watch what happens when I delete that. Boom, then it lines up all the way across here practically. So that's kind of a handy thing to do, again, is to go to that first layer, click on the mask, copy it, and then paste it into the other mask, and then just move some of your key points. Okay, so let me click on the middle layer. Again, you can see it's all right here. So now I need to do some fine adjustments. Zoom in, bring this over, and let's grab the pen tool again here. Watch this. I can click. I can make a few new points on here, for example, and then I can move these around. Okay. Let's make another one here. Maybe one more right there. And let's do another one right here. So again, you can make these points to kind of, work with the contour of the landscape. Okay, that looks pretty good. I don't know if I need to do much there. Just in case, let's move that down a little bit. Maybe one here. And one there. And just kind of conform to the landscape. It looks pretty good. Actually, let's put a couple here. Maybe one right there. Okay. And just do the best you can. That looks pretty good. I might be able to work with that. Again, I can even zoom in some more if I want. Maybe add a couple more here. Let's see. Let's go to the pen tool. Maybe one here, one there, and one here. Maybe one right there. So you can get pretty crazy with it here. That's pretty good. I don't know if I can improve upon that. One here maybe. So you just try to do the best you can and make a good line here. And so that should be by middle here. If you look at this here, I can drag this out a little bit too. Again, if I turn off the back layer here, you can see there's my middle layer. Here's my front layer. And now we just need to do the back layer. Okay, so we have our front layer here. We have our middle layer, and now we're going to do the back layer. So we'll turn all of we'll turn the back on because that still has all the images. But we're going to go to the middle layer again, don't forget, and we're going to click on the mask underneath the middle layer. Control plus C to copy it. Then on the back layer, Control plus V to paste it. And notice there the mask is in the layer now. And so all we need to do for this back layer now is we need to keep this bottom part and we just need to bring the top part up. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to delete a bunch of these. I don't need these. I'm on the back. Make sure you're on the right layer. I'm on the back layer. Control C. Let's see. All three of them are on there. That's good. So again, go to back layer here. And let's delete a bunch of these points that we don't need. I just want to draw a selection around a bunch of these. There we go. Okay, and delete those. And notice there it just creates kind of a straight line. So what we're going to do is we're going to delete a bunch of these points like we did before. I'm just drawing a selection around them. And then just use the ones that are existing to draw up and go around this way. So this one obviously can go up here. And then we can delete all these. There we go. Now we're getting back to where we need to be. And then we can bring this one up here. Oops, I don't need to go that far, do I? Okay, over here. And then these points will serve as the area right here that we need to bring in. So I'm just moving these points. I may have to create some more. I probably will. Let's zoom in so we can see it better. Again, don't be afraid to zoom in extremely. That'll help you accomplish what you need to accomplish here. So again, we're just moving these key points. And we're going to draw another one in here. Let's grab the pen tool. We're going to need at least one more right here. Maybe one more there. That looks good. Okay, and then again, grab your cursor and just use these points that were already there. Okay, and we're going to put one here. And we're going to have to draw a few more here, it looks like. So let's go ahead and do that. Oops, Control Z, you can click off. If you accidentally select all of them, just, let's see here. Oh, there we go. Just click on one of the points and that'll bring you back. Let's leave that one. Let's grab our pen tool. Okay. Make another point here. And notice there I'm getting the handles to adjust curves. I don't really want to do that. So let's try this again. Grab the pen tool here. Okay, and let's see, we need a couple more points over here. So let's see here. Let's see what we got so far. Okay, that's looking pretty good. Probably need one more down here. Okay, so it looks like I have all the points selected here. So to click off of that, just grab the pen tool and click on one of your points, and you should be able to fix that. Let's zoom in some more here. And we'll make a few more points along here. And that's probably good right there. So notice there's no black, there's no blank spots. So that's kind of what we want. So that looks pretty good right there. Let's bring this one in a little bit. And that should do it for our back layer here. So Alt again to zoom out. And let's do this. Let's grab one more. Let's make one more point here just to kind of tighten that up. Maybe make a few in here. There we go. Just kind of bring these down a little bit into this one. Maybe that's too much there. Let's try to leave that. Okay, so overlap them maybe just a little bit. Okay, so now if we zoom out here, you'll see we have our 3 layers just based on our masks that we drew. We have our, here, let's go here. We have our back layer on top. We have our middle layer. Finally, we have our front layer. And so what we're going to do is take these layers and we're going to move them or scale them at slightly different rates to create what we call an artificial zoom. Okay, so we have our 3 layers here. We have our front, middle, and back. And you can see there that they're all occupying their own space. And one thing I noticed when I zoomed out, watch what happens when I zoom out. So if I hit Alt and zoom out, notice there that there's a gap on the top and the bottom. I want to fill this whole, if I want to fill this whole thing up, I probably want to make this resize. But the concern is, will the masks resize with it? Well, if you select all 3 layers, hold down Shift, make sure all layers are selected. Open up one of the layers here and just scale it and see what happens. Notice there all the layers are scaling up together. That's about where we want it. And then if you go ahead and let's go ahead and close these. Let's click on the front layer, for example. If you click on the mask, notice there that the mask did move with it, but we lost some detail. Okay, but that's okay. So if you have to zoom, if you have to scale up, you can. And notice there that the mask also goes along with it. So you're okay if you have to scale it up later. So let's not worry about losing some of that detail. Let's just focus on what we have here. And now you can see there's no gaps around the monitor window. And so what we do next is we're going to create some zooms on these layers, okay? And we're going to zoom at different rates. So we're going to start with the front layer. We'll open that up. And we're going to scale it to where it is now, okay? And make sure, again, your scrub key is at the beginning of your layer. And then if you go to the transform controls here, there's a little stopwatch to the left of each word. If you click that little stopwatch, you're going to begin the keyframing process. And you notice there's our first keyframe right there. So what we're going to do is we're going to take this, scale it to about maybe 4 seconds, something like that. And then so what you do is once you start your keyframe process, you move your scrub key along the timeline to a desired area, and then you slide these controls up. I don't think we need to bring it up much. We just need to bring it up gradually, maybe to about 22%. Let's try that. Okay, so you can see there it automatically created a keyframe. So when I hit play or spacebar, you can see how it's scaling up. Okay, and it's moving away from the other layers. So we're going to do the same thing with the middle layer now. Again, we're going to open up the controls, open up the transform controls. Make sure your scrub key's at 0. We're going to scale that by clicking the stopwatch. Then this one will probably go a little longer than the other one. So when this one stops zooming, this one will still be zooming behind it. Okay? So I'm increasing the time here. And if you look at the front layer, you can see that it stopped zooming here at 4 seconds. Well, this one's going to go a little longer, right? The middle. So again, so our scale is right here. We're going to go over to about here and then scale this up a little ways. And again, it should just kind of blend right into the other one. So to about there, maybe. One more, about right there, right? Okay. And notice there it keyframed it. Once you move your scrub key and then you change the value, it's going to keyframe it. Once you click that stopwatch, okay? And so you can see that it's following there. And there's a little gap there. You can see how that happened. So we'll need to fix that too. One thing you can do is you can go here to your mask. And you can open up your mask here. You can invert it. And you can feather it a couple of pixels. So that can kind of help things too. So let's go ahead and try that again and see what it looks like. Okay, and it's still separating a little bit, but it's better. Okay, let's feather it out a little bit more. Okay, it's close, but I think what we need to do with these middle values is just go ahead and move these down just a little bit. And what you can do is you can select a bunch of them at once. I think all those would be sufficient, and just move them down a little bit. Okay, let's try that. So go to Home, and click off the mask there. And notice there that fixed it much better, okay? All right, so the last one we have to do is the sky here in the back layer. So we're going to close those. Come to the back layer again. Make sure your scrub key's at 0. Click the stopwatch to scale it. And if we open up the other 2 layers, we can see where the zoom stop there. So this one we'll just have go all the way until about, maybe about right here, right? Okay. And so then we're going to, let's move this up a little bit. And so now we're going to scale this up a little bit as well to about 23. Let's try that. Okay, so Home. And let's take a look at this. Let's close these. You can see again we're having a problem with the top again too in the gap. So let's go ahead and work on that. So let's go to the back layer here. And again, I think the best way to address that would be to just grab all these points. So let's just select around all these points and bring these down a little bit. And I think that will take care of the issue. Okay, and we can also feather it as well. So again, let's go to mask. Click on mask 1 here. Again, invert it, and we're going to feather this up a little bit again. Let's try that. Okay? And so as we watch it here, you can see it's still breaking up over there. So maybe what we need to do is have that scale up a little quicker, possibly. So let's go to the back again and look at our scale. And let's move it this way a little bit. And maybe bring those points down a little bit more. Okay, again, I'm just grabbing the pen tool and clicking on a point to deselect all the points. And then here, just grab these again, and let's bring those down just a little bit, as well as this one here. All right, let's see what that looks like. So let's go home. Very close, but we're not quite there yet. So what we want to do is look at the points here. And notice here that they are, let's go ahead and just let's move these points over a little ways this way. Let's see if we can kind of create a good zoom that way. So this will be a little bit slower. And notice there I'm getting some problems down here too. So that's cool. We're getting close, but we're not quite there. So let's go to the middle layer now. And let's, again, pen tool, select one of your points. Let's grab these key points again and bring these down a little bit. And let's do the same thing with the back layer. We want to bring those key points down. So again, pen tool, select one of your points. And then what we can do is grab all of these along here. Bring that down a little bit, and let's see what we got. Okay. This part looks good. It's the top part that we're struggling with. It's breaking away. So I think what we're going to do is we're going to let's go ahead and select this. What we're going to do is work on the middle layer. I think I was so what I'm going to do is reverse this. So bring these here back up to where they were. Let's see what we got. Let's bring this one down just a hair. Okay. Let's grab the pen tool here. Oops, I didn't want to do that. Okay, let's do this. Let's grab this here. Let's click off of there. There we go. Let's grab this point and bring it down. And then let's go to the middle layer, and we'll just bring those points up just a little bit, and I think that'll take care of it. Okay, so let's select all these points. Again, just bring those up just a hair. Let's try that. Okay? Okay, we're still splitting apart there on the top, so we need to figure that out. So let's go ahead and on this middle layer, we're going to increase our zoom at the end, our scale. So right here, click on this keyframe, and we're going to bring this up a little bit. Now it's going to affect the other layers too. So, but let's try that. Let's just bring that. In fact, that was too much, I think. So I'm going to go ahead and scale this down to about 23, if I can. There we go, 23.8. All right, so you just have to make little adjustments until it looks right. There we go. And so that's kind of the way to do it there. You got to make some adjustments. The middle layer is moving a little bit faster, and then the front layer again. So I'm going to go back to the front layer and make adjustments, and then I think I'll be finished. So looking at the front layer, I need to increase that a little bit too. Okay, so scaling out, let's go to hit end on your keyboard, and you go to the very end, and then go to that key point, that scale point right here, click on it, and I need to increase this one up to 23 as well, probably. Just be careful and take your time. That slider sometimes can be finicky. And let's take a look at that. Yeah, it looks good. Okay. And so that's basically what you do to create an artificial zoom. You mask out the three layers, and then what you do is you move each layer at a slightly different rate. You can also feather and invert the mask along the edges and just make adjustments to the actual layers and the key points that you made until it looks pretty seamless like this here.